Only a few chapters of the Elbaf arc have been released so far, but we can already feel the hype for this arc. Recently, in the Egghead Island arc, we know that a lot of the Straw Hat pirates were held back. So the question isn't, will they finally have a chance to show off in the Elbaf arc? This is exactly what we'll be discussing in this video. We're going to examine what we can expect from each member of the Straw Hat pirates in the Elbaf arc. And to start, let's dive right into Zoro. What can we expect from Zoro in the Elbaf arc? In the recent Egghead Island arc, we all know that Zoro was really held back by Oda. This was pretty obvious since he wasn't included when Lufy went down to Fabri-Pace. In fact, the only battles we got to see Zoro in were Zoro versus Kaaku, Zoro versus Seraphim Mehawk, and the long-awaited Zoro versus Rob Lucci. But we can't even count Zoro's brief face-off with Gorosei as a real fight since it happened so quickly. So with so many antagonists in the Egghead Island arc like Admiral Kizaru, the Gorosei, and Vice Admirals, and with Zoro not facing a single one of them, it's clear that Oda will let Zoro redeem himself in the Elbaf arc. Going back to what we can expect from Zoro, we can of course anticipate him having a fight with one of the main villains in this Elbaf arc. Now, let's move on to Zoro's counterpart, Sanji. What I expect from Sanji in the Elbaf arc is similar to Zoro. He also needs to redeem himself in this arc. Why? Because he failed in his mission to protect Vegapunk? Yes, Oda somewhat justified this by showing Vegapunk telling Sanji to just let him die, but as viewers, we still see it as a failure since he made a promise to Bonnie. So like Zoro, I also expect Sanji to have a major battle against one of the main villains of this arc as a way to redeem himself after his failed mission in the Egghead Island arc. For Usopp's part, I think he's the one with the highest expectations for the Elbaf arc. Why? Because ever since he met the giants Brogy and Dory during the Little Garden arc, his dream of becoming a brave warrior of the sea has only grown stronger after seeing their bravery and fighting for years on end. Usopp was especially inspired by their courage, which is why he's so eager to go to Elbaf. And speaking of courage, this is exactly what I expect Usopp to gain in this arc, because truthfully, Usopp has a lot of potential. He has the capability to defeat strong opponents. He's just lacking in courage. We saw how he casually awakened his observation haki, which up until now, not even any of the other Straw Hat members outside the monster trio have done. So in the Elbaf arc, I hope he finds a way to eliminate his fear completely so that he can be more confident in battle and more useful. Who knows? Maybe the answer to Usopp's fear lies with his father. Maybe at some point in this arc, the Red Hair Pirates will appear and he'll get to reunite with his father Yasopp. We never know. Anyway, now let's move on to Franky. What I expect from him in this Elbaf arc is growth and improvement. Since Lilith, who's still considered a Vegapunk, is traveling with them to Elbaf, I expect Franky to learn from her in terms of technology. As for Chopper, I expect him to stand out more in this arc because, like Zoro, Oda didn't let him go down to Egghead Island. He didn't have any real battles in the recent arc, and even during Saturn's assault, all he could do was defend. So I expect Chopper to be more useful in this arc, especially since it seems like animals might play an important role in the Elbaf arc. Brogy and Dory even mentioned this, and in a recent chapter, we already saw a giant wolf and a large eagle that Gerd cares for. Since Chopper can communicate with animals, he could be a huge asset to the team here. In terms of medical expertise, he'll likely also be essential, as it seems like a war might break out in this arc. For Nami, only a few chapters into this arc, and she's already been impressive. I hope she continues to shine, especially now that she's clearly mastered using Zeus. And speaking of Zeus, we saw that Elbaf's layout is basically surrounded by clouds. I hope this becomes relevant for Nami later on, especially since Oda emphasized Nami's weather skills when he sent her to Weatheria during the 2-year time skip. For Robin, if the last road Ponica is indeed related to Elbaf, which seems likely, then of course we expect her to play a big role in this arc. Since the Straw Hats only need one more road pone lift to get to Laugh Tale, we can expect that in addition to the road pone wife. Other groups might target Robin, including the world government, because if you think about it, even if they complete the 4 road polix, if the world government just kidnaps Robin, the poneglyphs become useless, and the Straw Hats would no longer be able to reach Laugh Tale without someone to read them. I also think other groups, like the Blackbeard Pirates, might try to capture Robin, although they already have Charlotte Pudding. There's no update yet on whether she has awakened her third eye, so it's still a toss-up if she can read the Ponegs for them. As for Jinbe and Brook, I just expect the usual from them in this arc, supporting their crewmates as they usually do. Given that they're the oldest members of the crew, they usually let the younger ones have the spotlight. And finally, Luffy. It's a given that Luffy will be the star of the Egghead Island arc, but it's possible that the topic of the Sun God Nikai will be explored further in the Elbaf arc, especially since it's been mentioned multiple times in the few chapters that have been released. In short, in terms of expectations, we don't need to expect anything higher from Luffy. As long as he improves his use of Gear 5 and keeps his crewmates out of danger as captain, I think that's enough for him to shine in this arc. Anyway, those are our expectations for the Straw Hat Pirates in this new Elbaf arc. Well, the video ends here, but I'd like to know your opinion, so make sure to let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a like and also subscribe to the channel. We'll meet again with another amazing video. Until then, goodbye.